What's going on, everyone? Death Metal Antichrist here, back with a brand new video. Now, today, I thought I'd do something that... I was going to do overrated metal albums, but I want to say overhated and give these bands some slack. So, most overhated metal albums, in my opinion. Now, without further ado, let's get right fucking into it. Now, first up is Sepultura with Roots. Now, I have never really understood why this album gets so much hate. Now, I get it's like the groove metal era, but like with some kind of reggae kind of jungle influences, but with a bit of nu metal in there as well, which I don't like nu metal at all. I fucking hate nu metal, but I might be biased because this was my first ever Sepultura album, and I love it dearly. Well, not really love, but it has a special place in my heart. Like songs like the title track, Attitude, Radamahata, those songs are great. The rest of the album, it's iffy, but this album gets way too much hate. I think it's actually a pretty strong album. Like, it's... I think it's pretty good, quite frank, to be quite frank with you. Like, and after this is what I think was Sepultura's real downfall, because Max, in my opinion, the Cavalera brothers, they are the foundation of Sepultura. That band would not be where it is without them. They just wouldn't be. They would not be the same They would not be the same band at all. At all. They would not be the same band. I mean, at all. Like, they founded that band, and all their stuff from 1985 even, like the EP, to 1996, that is what Sepultura is to me. Those albums define Sepultura. Maybe not Roots. Don't get me wrong, I think it's a good album, but I'm not going to worship it here. I'm not going to worship this album just because I think it has a few good songs. No, I'm not going to do that. But it gets a bad rap. Anyways, next on our list is Carcass with Swan Song. Now, I get why people hate this album, because of the commercial kind of touch to it. Like, they already went in more of a mellow death direction with Heartwork. They essentially invented melodic death metal with that album. And to be quite frank, I actually think it's one of their best albums, just because of how well made it is. Because they started out as a fucking gore grind band, and now they went to melodic death metal. That's a fucking big leap, because gore grind is... It's fucking... Gore grind is insane. To be quite frank with you, gore grind is just a fucking insane genre of music. Absolutely insane genre. And I'm not a big fan of gore grind. Like, really, like, it's not really my cup of tea. I know some people that love gore grind. I don't really get it, but I'm more into old school death metal and shit like that. Shit like Dismember and Bolt Thrower and Suffocation and fucking Dying Fetus, and those brutal death metal, by the way. And like black metal and shit and thrash metal. That's more what I'm into, but I'm not gonna shit on any of these bands, but like Keep them Rotting in the Free World and Black Star are two great songs from Swan Song. I mean, yeah, the artwork may look like shit. The artwork is just shit in general. Like, the artwork is just shit artwork. Like, I don't even know what the fucking artwork is supposed to be. I don't, like, it confuses me. I think they did a Black Star album, and I haven't listened to it in a while, but I'm pretty sure they did one, and when I listened to it, it was shit. It's the only Carcass album that I think is actually just a shit album. But yeah, that's actually a shit Carcass album. Swan Song, I like Swan Song. Swan Song is a genuinely good album. I like Swan Song, okay? Now, next up is Are You Dead Yet by Children of Bodom. I didn't even know this got any hate until recently, which was bizarre to me. Like, why? Like, it's one of their best albums in my opinion. Hold on, my fucking poster's coming down. But yeah, I had no idea Swan Song was it. Not Swan Song. Are You Dead Yet? Yeah, it was actually even hated. Like Are You Dead Yet and In Your Face were my two first Bodum songs, and this was a little before they disbanded. So when Alexi Laiho died, that was a shock to me because I've loved Bodum, and even Bodum After Midnight is a great band in my opinion. I mean they had it so much ahead of them, but they kind of got, since Alexi Laiho died, they kind of got cut short. And it's a shame. Rip, man. Rest in peace. My condolences to Alexi and his family. Like, I love, I love that album, and songs like "Are You Dead Yet" and "In Your Face," those are fucking great songs. Like, yeah, "In Your Face" might sound the lyrics are a little try hard. I mean, I think we can all agree on that. The lyrics are kind of try hard. Yeah, we can agree on that. But the riffs on that album, like Children of Bodom are a great band in general. Like obviously they have better albums like Hey Breeder and shit like that. But that is actually one of their best albums in my opinion. I love Are You Dead Yet? It's a great album for me. It's actually a pretty cool album. But that's just me and my opinion. So now next up is Cradle of Filth with Nymphetamine. Now this I've always been kind of iffy on Cradle of Filth. Anything after Nymphetamine, shit in my opinion. I think it's just shit. Absolute shit. But Cradle of Filth's early stuff is great. It's a great like mix of kind of gothic metal and like symphonic black metal. I love that shit. And Nymphetamine, my dad actually showed me the song Nymphetamine Fix. I'd never heard of Cradle of Filth. I'd never heard any of their songs. I heard the song and it was just kind of this fucking gothic kind of shit that had kind of black metal-y vocals in the middle. It was just a sound that I had never heard before. I mean, yeah, there's obviously better shit out there, but I fucking, damn, it was fucking, I was blown away. It was not really blown away, but it was just a really good album. I thought it was just really good. Like, obviously, it's definitely not their best album. Definitely not. In my opinion, they have much better albums. And fucking, like, this is the bottom of the barrel for them. But yeah. Like, they have a lot better albums. But, honestly, this album is actually a good album, in my opinion. In fact, it's a great album. Not a great album, actually, but... Anyways, next up is Never Say Die by Black Sabbath. Now, this is definitely the worst album in the Aussie era. That's obvious, but it doesn't change the fact that this album is a genuinely fucking great album. Not great. I keep saying this album is a genuinely great album. No, it's a good album. Like, it's not, it's I want to say at the bottom of their discography, but the only Black Sabbath album that I think is actually a shit album is Never Say Die. I mean, not Never Say Die. Is Forbidden. I fucking can't stand that album at all. It's horrific. I hate it. But no, Never Say Die. The song Never Say Die was when I was first getting into metal, I got a Black Sabbath best of album, and Never Say Die was on there. I enjoyed the shit out of that track. My mum actually saw Black Sabbath live when I was like fucking, 2, so obviously I couldn't go. But yeah. Like, even the Dio stuff is actually really fucking good, in my opinion. I love the Dio stuff. I love the Dio stuff just as much as I love the Aussie stuff. The Aussie stuff is great and all, but I love the Dio stuff just as much as I love the Aussie stuff. Anyways, out of that. Now, next up is Megadeth Countdown to Extinction. Megadeth Cryptic Writings. Now, Cryptic Writings, a lot of people, since it's a bit poppier, people kind of discredit it, which I think is the wrong assumption. I actually think a lot of people are actually missing out on how good these albums are. Like, how good Cryptic Writings is, because it's actually a really fucking good album. Like the songs, yeah, they're poppier, but at the same time, they're just as good. Not just as good, but, like, they're really good, surprising of how poppy they are. They're actually really good, like, good albums, like, better than I thought they would have been, quite frankly. Like I honestly think it's a great album. And it doesn't deserve the hate it gets. Like Super Collider and Risk are obviously shit albums. Fucking throw them in the bin. Just fucking. I hate those albums. It's I don't like them at all. But yeah, it's honestly a great album. I love it. It's like I have a bunch of Megadeth CDs here. Like I have all these Megadeth CDs. So, because I used to be like massive into Megadeth, still am. Oh, there's Super Collider here. I've got this new album in my fucking dad's car, so yeah, it's great. I love it. I love Megadeth. One of my favorite thrash bands. Now, next up and last on the list is Slayer with Diabolus in Musica. Now, in no means is this really even that good of an album, but it's just overhated because not every song in here is bad. It's just the nu metal influence that throws me off because, as you should know by now, I can't fucking stand nu metal. I think the music is genuinely shitty music. I just don't like it. I don't really like any of the bands. Like, none of them appeal to me. Like, I like a couple Slipknot albums, but they don't like that's all that really appeals to me. Diabolus, it wasn't all nu metal though. It had some elements of like, what do you call it? Had some elements of groove metal in there. Just as much groove metal, if not slightly more than there was nu metal. And I think it's a genuinely great album. Not great, I keep saying this word, but it's genuinely not a bad album. Like, it's not really a good album either. But it's actually compared to like how much people shit on it, it's actually pretty good. Like, okay, this isn't the last one on the list, by the way. I fucking forgot to correct that. Anyways, next up, and finally, is I Am the Night by Pantera. Now, this is the first album by Pantera that, in my opinion, was actually good. Because obviously this is in their glam metal days. The first two glam metal albums, Metal Magic and Projects in the Jungle, shit. But this is actually pretty good. The glam era of Pantera is, like, very unappreciated. Glamterra is fucking awesome. You consider power metal that kind of genre, it's more speed metal in my opinion, with kind of has hints of the glam metal, like the hair metal stuff. But this, and Dimebag actually sings on power metal too, fun fact. Like, on one song he sings on power metal. Obviously, Phil does most of the vocals, but yeah. I Am the Night is a great album in my opinion. It's... If I can find it, I'll probably get it on CD. It's a great album. I love it. Like, and I went for a massive, like, I worshipped Dimebag Darrell, like, a massive Pantera phase. Don't get me wrong, I still love Pantera. But I went for a phase of, like, loving, like, worshipping them. And, yeah, that's all I have to say for this video. Anyways, you've been great. I've been the Death Metal Antichrist. And, see you next time, guys. Stay fucking brutal.